everyone, my name is Francesca Jem S. Valdez, and today I'm gonna tell you the story about Annie Pie by Derek Manson and illustrated by Sarah Callahan King. It was a perfect summer until Jordan Ross moved in right next door to my best friend Stanley. I did not like Jordan. At a party, I wasn't even invited, but my best friend Stanley was. I never had an enemy until Jeremy moved in the area. Dad told me when he was my age had enemies too, but he knew of a way to get rid of them. Dad pulled out a worn-out scrap of paper from a recipe book. "Enemy pie," he said, satisfied. You may be wondering what exactly is an enemy pie. Dad told
The
me
necessary props told in the story.
Dad told me that the recipe was so secret, he couldn't even tell me. I begged him to tell me something, anything. "I will tell you this, Tom," he said to me. "Enemy pie is the fastest known way to get rid of enemies." This got me thinking, what kinds of disgusting things would I put for enemy pie? I brought Dad some worms and rats, but he gave them right back to me. I went outside to play. All the while, I listened to the sounds of my dad in the kitchen. This could be a great summer after all. I tried to imagine how horrible enemy pie must smell. I tried to imagine how horrible enemy pie must smell. But I smelled something really, really, really good. As far as I could tell, it was coming from my kitchen. I was confused. I asked Dad what was wrong. Enemy pie shouldn't smell this good. But Dad was smart. If enemy pie smelled bad, your enemy would never eat it. I could tell he'd made this pie before. The oven buzzer rang. It looked good enough to eat. I was beginning to understand. But still, I don't know how this enemy pie worked. What exactly did it do to enemies? Maybe it made their hair fall out or the breath stink. I asked Dad, but he was no help. While the pie cooled, Dad filled me on my job. He whispered something to me. "In order for it to work, you need to spend the day with your enemy. Even worse, you have to be nice to him. It's not easy, but that's the only way enemy pie can work. Are you sure you could do all of this?" Of course I was. I need to spend one day with Jeremy. Then he'd be out of my life. I rode my bike to his house and knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. When Jeremy opened the door, he seemed surprised. Can you come out and play?" I asked. He seemed confused. "I'll go ask my mom." And he came back with his shoes on his hand. We rode our bikes for a while, then ate lunch. After lunch, we went over to my house. It was strange, but I was having fun with my enemy. I couldn't tell Dad that because he worked so hard to make the pie. We played until my dad called us for dinner. Dad had made my favorite food, and it was Jeremy's favorite too. Maybe Jeremy wasn't so bad after all. I was beginning to think maybe we should forget about enemy pie. "Dad," I said, "it's really nice to have a new friend." I was telling him Jeremy was no longer my enemy. But Dad only smiled and nodded. Maybe he thought I was just pretending. After dinner, Dad brought out the pie and served 3 plates, one to me and one to Jeremy. "Wow!" Jeremy said, looking at the pie. I panicked. I didn't want Jeremy to eat enemy pie. He was my friend. "Don't eat it!" I cried. "It's bad!" Jeremy's fork stopped before reaching his mouth. He gave me a funny look. I felt relieved. I had saved his life. If it's so bad, Jeremy asked, "then why has your dad already eaten half of it?" Sure enough, Dad was eating enemy pie. "Good stuff," Dad mumbled. I sat down to watch them eat. Neither of them were losing any hair. It seems so I took a tiny taste. It was was. After dessert, Jeremy invited me to come over to his house the next morning. As for enemy pie, I still don't know how to make it. I don't know if I'll ever get an answer because I just lost my test and the end. Thank you for listening to me.